What's up, Epic 7? We have reached RC21. That's right, Rift Controller 21 for Nightmare of the Oceans Rift event, and this is where the event starts getting crazy good to farm. A lot of wild stuff happens at RC21, and I'm going to cue you into some of the coolest tech you've seen for this event. So let's jump right in and talk about the teams we have. Now I'm going to talk about 4 different teams for Rift Controller 21. We're going to talk about first the fastest clear team. Then we're going to talk about the best team to use if you don't have Wukong. And trust, that's a 1-turn clear as well, so you don't need Wukong to 1-turn clear this, guys. Third, we're going to talk about a Wukong Solo. Yeah, not even kidding. And then fourth, we're going to talk about the most efficient way to do some crazy Wukong Solos. You're going to love that one. So I hope you enjoy this. Stay tuned. Definitely check out that last one if you want to see some neat tech. First, let's talk about the Rift controllers that you get, the Rift Fragments that you get at Rift Core 21. So at Rift Core 21, 3 new fragments appear. First is the Dimensional Fragment of Sealing, and what this does is if you have no Soul Weaver on the team, it grants immunity, undispellable, and it lasts the entire time the fight is going on for the whole team. So you'll never take debuffs. This lets you run without a Soul Weaver, and in fact you have to run without a Soul Weaver for this fragment to even work. So this lets us dump Bernard. I know. I told you go pull on the Mystic Banner, get your Bernard. You really need Bernard for this. Bernard's so good for this. Yeah, it turns out he's not even needed. Now, Bernard can still be used, and he is good for people who don't quite have the gear to pull this off. I'll explain all of that here in just a minute. Next, we have the Dimensional Fragment of Conflagration. This one allows Ranger heroes to extend the debuffs. So if you are running Bologna and you decide to keep Bernard on the team, this lets you clear very fast. I think for people who don't quite have the gear, or the people that don't have Wukong, this is probably the best one to take. Bologna, Bernard, and you run the second team we're going to run, which is the one without Wukong. You'll want this fragment on. And the third is just the one that extends the Rift counter force by 5. That's the number of turns you have to clear Rift before it times you out. This one is extra good for people who do not have Bologna and do not have Wukong. This one will allow you to get 5 extra turns, which will be important because without Wukong or Bologna, it's going to be a little bit of a slower slog to the end, so this one can help you overcome that. So 3 different Rift fragments for 3 different needs. If you're using Green Auden as your defense breaker, or if you're just running without a defense breaker, you use this one. If you have Bologna on the team but no Wukong, you use this one. And if you have Wukong on the team, you can use this one because Wukong can be your healer. So for the first team, we're going to be running the fastest team, and that's going to involve Wukong. So because we're running without a Soul Weaver, we turn on the number 2 Rift Fragment so that Wukong can be our healer. And then we turn on the number 3 and number 1 fragments for RC 8 and 15 because these all let warriors do amazing things, and Wukong is an amazing warrior, so we give him the stuff. And then we turn on the Dimensional Fragment of Sealing so that we can kick Bernard to the curb. So guys, here's team number 1. This is the fastest team that I've found to date. This is the one that you use if you are whale farming this, right? It's a hunt buff event and you want to squeeze as many of these into a day as possible, burn through leaves as fast as possible for your buff event. First, Wukong. Now, without Touch of Rekos on Bernard, we're going to be in the range of potential death here. So I strongly recommend that you do something to get his health up a little bit higher. Just 800 to 1,000 more HP should be enough. You get him to 13k health and he'll not get one shot. But if you find your Wukong is occasionally getting one shot, just squeeze a little bit more HP on him. Another 800,000 HP on him, and this build will be fine. I've got him on the Victorious Flag because that helps us stay alive at this low of a health range, and he is just built for Giga Damage. It's the exact same Wukong we've been running up to this point. Second on the team is Bologna. She's going to be our principal defense breaker. Defense break is not needed. You will clear without defense break, but if you get the defense break, it goes so much faster. That's why I'm running her on Elegiac Candle for an extra 40% chance to defense break. That way, if her 100% chance gets 15%ed, the artifact can maybe proc another 40% chance and give us a second shot at the defense break. Not required, but without defense break, the runs are a little slower. I'm running her on the number 2 EE so that butterfly fans cooldowns happen every 2 turns instead of every 3. More AoE spamming, more stability, right? Other than that, she is speed tuned to go 3rd in line just so that she goes after the Kraken and can get the defense break up for an extra turn. 105% effectiveness is the threshold. Anything above 105 is wasted. Anything below 105 hurts your chances. So try to be at or above 105 effectiveness. Pump the rest into damage. The 3rd unit on the team is Vivian. I want Vivian to be my 2nd fastest or fastest unit because we're going to be running with immunity on the team. You don't have to worry about cleansing, so she can even go first. Vivian is just built for damage, and more damage. I've put her on the Radiant Forever artifact for 50% more damage. You get this from the Hall of Trial shop. If you don't have this artifact, just put her on Caladra and you'll run just fine. You can even put her on Edika's Scepter to help cycle her S2s a little bit. Now Bernard. This is the Bernard we would be running if we didn't have the RC21 fragment that made Soul Weavers useless to us. So Bernard, get the heck off my team. We're going to replace Bernard. Now who do you replace Bernard with? Well, you can replace Bernard with a defense breaking unit like Green Auden. You could put Ram on there. Ram's got a defense break on her S3. Really anybody that you want to help give you an extra chance at defense break. The other thing you can do is put an ungeared unit whose friendship isn't maxed that you're trying to friendship farm. Now sure, he'll get 1 shot right out of the gate with his friendship artifact. He'll get 1 shot right out of the gate, but that's okay. This team can 3-man it, and you can use this team to speed friendship farm. But if you're looking for the highest speed way to do this, you put an extra unit for extra damage on here. So I'm going to run Mui because Mui brings a lot of damage to the team, especially if she is built for it. So I put Mui on a damage build. I don't care about her effectiveness because I don't care about her debuffs. I don't care about her EE because I don't care about her debuffs. I put her on a damage artifact. Now her cooldowns are pretty slow, so you could put her on Prophetic Candlestick to cycle, but I think this clears fast enough that you don't have to worry about her artifact or her skill cooldowns being so long. She's not going to take that many turns because this will clear fast. Other than that, I just packed a bunch of damage. A Destruction or Rage set probably would have been better, but this is what I had laying around, and it looks, you know, 3,500, 330 crit damage. That should do pretty good damage. So at the start of the fight, we get hit, and everybody would take debuffs, except we have that permanent immunity buff, so no debuffs stick, which lets Vivian go right into her AoE attack. Remember, that SWAT can kill you if you don't put more HP on your Wukong, so don't hold out on that. Bellona gives a defense break, and now we start chipping away at those tentacles. Look how fast we're stacking up those debuffs. We got a 6-turn defense break, guys. Between Wukong and Mui both being on the team, you will be able to really stack up the debuffs and make sure that you don't have to deal with too many tentacles throughout the fight. We're under a minute, and we're already more than halfway through the fight, guys. Vivian hits so damn hard in this. Bellona comes in with her S2. Look at all of those debuffs. Even though we go down the swirling toilet bowl of death, we're going to keep the lion's share of those debuffs, but most importantly, that defense break. Wukong hits. And there we go, dead with 13 rounds left. This was like under a minute and a half. This was like a minute and 20 seconds. This is faster than a lot of hunt clears. So you're actually farming Rift on par with farming hunts. So I think this is a fantastic team if you are trying to burn through thousands of leafs and it's a buff event and you're just going for maximum clears in the minimum amount of time. But what if you don't have Wukong, you say? Well, if you don't have Wukong, what you'll want to do is replace Wukong with somebody who can take the hits to the face, right? Albedo is nice. She's got a defense break on her S3. The Great Mortelix is nice. He's got defense breaks on his S1. They probably won't stick, but he gives anti-crit to the whole team, which can help with survivability. My personal favorite, though, is Senya. Senya is really good for taking shots to the face. You can try Flurry, but I'm worried that even though she's got defense breaks and heals, she's going to cycle and take so many turns you might not full clear if you don't stick that defense break. But we have some Rift Fragments to optimize first before we run this Senya team. So you want to come in here to the Rift Fragment section. We're going to redo this. We do not have a warrior in the front, so let's just go with the one that gives extra damage. We don't have a warrior in the front, so let's go with the one that lets Vivian cycle her damage skills like crazy. We don't have a warrior in the front row, so let's go with the one that gives one knight hero decreased skill cooldown on their S3. This will help Senya get her S3 off. So with this current team, we're going to put the Soul Weaver Bernard back on, and we're going to shift the Dimensional Fragment to allow Rangers to do their extra effect by reducing or extending the debuff duration. So this is our you don't have Wukong fragment arrangement, and this, get out of here, Mooey. And we bring Bernard back into the fold, and this is our Rift Core 21 clear team. Now Senya is just a basic Senya, right? We've got her on the Sword of Azera, which you get from the Holo Trial shop. If you don't have Sword of Azera, go ahead and run Proof of Valor. It's not as good as Sword of Azera, but it should work. Either run her on Lifesteal or run her on the S1 Recover Health EE. I've got her on both, which makes doubly sure she stays alive, but I'm pretty sure just one or the other is enough. Tell me in the comment section if it's not, but I'm pretty sure one or the other is enough. But if you want to double up to be sure, go for it. She does not need this effect resistance. This is left over from an old Guild Wars build. You can just pump even more HP on her if you want her to be extra tanky. And 175 seems like a good speed, so she doesn't waste too many turns, too many rounds doing minimal damage. This is the same Bologna that we ran on the previous team. Here's her stats: 105 or higher effectiveness. Remember, over 105 doesn't do anything, but under 105 hurts, so get as close to 105 or over. 110's where mine landed. Other than that, make her be the second or third fastest unit on the team, so she goes after the Kraken does his tentacle swipe. That way her defense buffs last longer. I like her on Elysiac Candle because defense buffs are really important, but you can try her on Bloodstone if you're having trouble with survivability. Number 2 EE to extend Butterfly Fan is her best in slot. That will help make sure she spams her AoE skills. Next is the same Vivian that we've been running in the past. I've got her on Radiant Forever for damage. You can run her on Caladra if you want extra damage, or any damage boosting artifact, really. Other than that, just give her damage, and more damage. You want her to hit like a truck because she is our principal damage dealer for this fight. And finally, Bernard. He's back. He is here to keep the team healthy. I like him on Touch of Rekos, but it's not required. You can run him on any healing artifact and keep your team pretty healthy. If you put Bologna on Bloodstone, you could even put Bernard on something like Midnight Pizza Delivery or Midnight Bloom to give the entire team more crit chance and lower your stat requirements on all your units and make them hit even harder. Remember, Bernard's barriers cycle based on his HP, so you want his HP to be as high as possible, and you want him to be the first unit on your team to take a turn. That way he can cleanse the debuffs and get everything going. Here's how the team runs. So without the immunity Rift Fragment, when this hits, everybody gets debuffed, but that's what Bernard is here for, to cleanse all of that. And there is the cleanse, and then Vivian applies the attack buff and immunity to everybody, and now we are in fighting shape. Senya applies her S3. It is an AoE attack, so although it doesn't do much damage, it does get rid of a tentacle for us. Bologna does her S3, hopefully sticking a defense break. We got it. Nice, nice. And remember, Bologna is extending those debuffs because she is a ranger, and we've got that Rangers extend debuffs with AoE attack fragment. Another splashback from Bologna, extending the debuffs to 4. Vivian hitting really hecking hard. Senya keeping herself alive with that counterattack buff. Another S3 gets rid of another tentacle. And here comes Bologna with another AoE hit, extending the debuffs even further. We got a 5-turn debuff on the defense break. That means we are going to see almost no debuffs disappear from that boat. Yeah, we only lost one of the sever tentacles. So we've got almost a full bar of tentacles. He's only going to be able to get one tentacle back when he takes this turn. There we go. But look how quickly we get rid of those 2 tentacles. There goes one, and there goes the other, and we're at a full bar of bonus damage for our team. We've got 5 health bars left and 13 turns to go. A very, very clean 1-turn clear team. I am 99% sure this will clear even without the defense break, but the defense break makes it even faster. You know what? Without the defense break, it might take 2 turns. But if it does for you, it is what it is, right? You can try Bloodstone on Bologna and run it without Bernard and just put an extra damage dealer on there. That might work. But with 5 turns left, Bologna should cinch it with this hit, and we are done. 1 turn clear, 1 round clear with no Wukong. What if you do have Wukong, but you don't have Bologna, and you don't have Vivian, and you never pulled Bernard? Well, fear not, you can run just Wukong. I'm not kidding. He can solo this all by himself. First, let's get the Rift Fragments right for a solo clear with Wukong. So first thing we're going to do is turn him on the healing EE because he's going to be the self-healer. Then we want the Warrior one for our number 8 fragment so that he extends the debuffs. And then we want the Warrior fragment down here so that we increase our damage proportional to the number of debuffs because we're running without a defense break, right guys? And then we turn this one on because we don't have a healer, so we need the immunity at the start. So this is your combination for a Wukong solo. Now, we do need to do a couple of things to Wukong for a Wukong solo. First, he is not going to survive with this low a health. So do something to make him a little bit healthier, right? Even if it's something as simple as giving him a HP main ring. I mean, sure, you crapped all over his damage, but this should be able to tank what we're delivering. And 127 speed, you want him to take some turns, right? So let's change him out to some speed boots. You know what? Let's use these speed boosts. I'm okay with 98% crit. Sure, he'll miss a crit once in a while, but this is probably going to be good enough. Now this Wukong will be able to take some shots to the face and is fast enough to take some additional turns. Now, if you really want to take it to the next level, you can ditch this artifact right here. And you can either put him on Kane's artifact, which will do giga damage as you push deeper and deeper in the fight, or you can put him on Shu's artifact, which will help him cycle. It'll give you additional CR and make him even more crit resistant. So you'll have to decide more damage versus more cycling. I feel bad that Kane's artifact gets so little attention, so I'm going to use this so you can see some really big numbers proc, but either of them will work, guys. Even the artifact I had him on earlier, the Victorious Flag, even that artifact will work just fine. So let's try this team out and see how it goes. And by team, I mean just Wukong. So because of the Rift Fragment, we've got immunity at the beginning, so we don't take any debuffs here, and we just have to be able to survive that first hit. But we're fast enough to self-heal, give the barriers, so that hit doesn't even have a chance of killing us. We heal back up. We've got 2 tentacles down. And at this speed, he is almost fast enough to lap and get 2 turns in. We should get 2 hits here. Good, good. Our goal is just chipping away these tentacles so that we can do more and more damage with Kane's artifact. $37k damage on that hit. You know what? We've got so few tentacles here. We might have been better off with the Victorious Flag, but that's okay. There's 4 tentacles. There's 5 tentacles. Now we're starting to see a little bit better damage. What have we got now? That's 37k. 44k. Oh, he's going to cleanse most of those tentacles. Well, we still got 4. So there's 44k. Still holding out at 44. We got 5 this time. Should hit harder. 51k. 58k. $67k. 75k. $66k, and we've got a full bar of debuffs here. There's 6 health bars left, 5 health bars left. Four health bars left. Three. Ooh, this is gonna be a big hit. Check this out. 93k damage. When those debuffs stack up, Kane's artifact really starts doing big numbers. And there we go. With 6 rounds left on the counterforce, we clear solo Wukong. Now, it wasn't as fast as the other team, but it was a solo clear. But I think we can improve on this, guys. I think solo Wukong, yeah, that's nice. But why do we have all these empty spots? What can we do with those empty spots to make things happen? Well, first things first, let's talk about Wukong. A lot of people have said, I hate that I have to have a Wukong that's on rage and damage to be able to deal with Rift. You know what? You don't. You can totally run a RTA version of Wukong. So let's go ahead and build that real quick. And here he is. This is my RTA Wukong. He's 191 speed. He's got 84 crit chance, but with the boost from his own artifact, that's 100% crit chance. He's got respectable damage. He's not going to hit anywhere near as hard as before, but he's going to hit plenty hard enough. And I got enough bulk that I should be able to survive anything Rift throws at me. And I think this build will probably perform well in Arena, Guild Wars, and even in RTA. So this is just to show you that even a lifesteal Wukong can work. Now, the nice thing about a lifesteal Wukong is we can turn off the self-healing Rift Fragment. So we're going to slip it back over to 30% more damage. But we're going to maintain the double warrior one for 8 and 15 and the no healer needed one for 31. Now, what else can we do to improve on this team? You're going to love this. You remember Mukacha? Of course you don't. Nobody remembers Mukacha, who wasn't playing in 2018. Back in 2018, Mukacha was one of the fastest units, and he is a speed imprint. So he's going to make our 191 Wukong run even faster at 199 speed. So we put Mukacha on the team, and he gives a speed imprint. And why do we want Mukacha as a speed imprint and not somebody else? Well, you may not remember this. Heck, you may not even know it. But Mukacha has a 100% defense break on his S3. So you put just enough gear on Mukacha to get to 105 effectiveness, and you can even cheat it down a little bit by putting an artifact on him that boosts effectiveness. One of my favorite versions of this would be Cursed Compass. Cursed Compass gives 50% effectiveness, and it's only for his first action, but that's all we need, is his first action. So even though we're at 104 effectiveness, even though this is giga overkill, that gets me to 105. And that's enough. I could literally put any artifact on him that boosted effectiveness by 1% to max it out. But we could do better than just this team, right? What you can legitimately do is sort by friendship and find some units whose friendship is not maxed out yet, right? Like, I could put Albedo on the team and Ludwig on the team. It may take 1 or 2 hits to kill them off, but nobody is healing them. We're not using Wukong's self-healing, right? We're letting Wukong heal himself with lifesteal set. So he no longer needs the self-healing, the team healing Rift Fragment. And in fact, you don't want the team healing Rift Fragment if you are trying to power level friendship on units. You want them to die off and not take turns. So either run Wukong on a lifesteal set, or if you're not running Wukong on lifesteal, give him Sigurd's Scythe or Golden Rose. Both of those will work just fine, especially at this tankiness. Golden Rose and Sigurd's Scythe will work just as well as a lifesteal set and keep him alive and healthy throughout the fight. And that way you don't heal the units you want to die off. AoE hit, hurts everybody. Huh, just killed Ludwig right out of the gate. The nice thing about having 4 people on the team is it reduces that initial chunk of damage too, because remember, the Kraken does additional damage when there's 3 or fewer people, so you can actually help if your Wukong struggles a little bit for survival by starting out with 4 units, letting the first hit not hurt Wukong nearly as bad, and then he kills everybody off. But by then, you're starting to get these tentacles down. And remember, these tentacles are increased damage for the boss. And as you get rid of them, he hits lighter and lighter. So even though you take injuries, even though your injuries stack up, he'll never catch up to you on damage because you're going to have the tentacles gone and replaced by the sever that boosts your personal damage. So you're going to hit harder and he's going to hit lighter the further into the fight you go. And that's why, even though Wukong is going to be darn near half health from injury, probably around 5,000 or 6,000 health, he still can't be one shot later in the fight. Is without those tentacles, the Kraken hits like a kitten. Now, if you really, really want to take it to the next level, you can ditch his own personal artifact and put on the damage dealing artifact. You can put Kane's artifact on there. You can put Our Beautiful Seasons on there. All those kind of artifacts work great on him. But even though the artifact I have him on doesn't do any additional damage, it's the artifact I want to run for PvP, because in Rift, you can miss a crit here and there. But in RTA, you don't want to miss a crit. So I don't like artifact swapping, but if you don't plan to use Wukong in PvP, then do what you need to do to get the job done. There we are, 9 turns left, full clear. And look at this beautiful result here. Friendship bonus for units that aren't max leveled yet. So by the end of this, you shouldn't have a green unit who's not Friendship 10. But once you do, once you run out of green units and everybody is Friendship 10, start slapping some speed imprints on there, because remember, even after death, though artifact effects go away, imprints stick around. So attack imprints and speed imprints are money to help your Wukong perform even better in this fight. Now, once you're done friendship farming and you've just got no green units left to max out the friendship on, if you want to really make this giga efficient, then these last 2 spots, you run green Sid and green Vildred. And if you don't have Sid or Vildred, you can run Mercenary Helga. You could run Righteous Thief Ruzid. Both of those have speed imprints, and that's what we're going for here, guys. Take a look. This is 12, 22, 30. This is 30 extra speed going into my Wukong. Imprints stick around after the units die. So he is going to be 30 speed faster through the entire fight, even after these guys die off, and that makes him cycle so fast. It really, really speeds through this. So I would recommend 3 speed imprints plus Mukacha for the defense break. Again, you don't need the defense break. It's just going to make it really, really fast. But this tech really lets you stabilize and speed up and make this more efficient. Now, at the start of the fight, make sure you turn Vildred's skills off. And the reason for that is you want to be able to have room to get your defense break on, so you don't want to take so many turns that Mukacha doesn't get his attack off. So there's 1 hit, 2 hits, 3 hits. Guy swipes. We still have room for the defense break. That applies it. And now we're going to take a big hit. That should kill off most people. Well, looks like they all are hanging on by a thread, but that's okay. This gets rid of everybody. Well, except Vildred, but Vildred is on death's door. Wukong extending the defense breaks, Vildred trying to help out where he can, but he finally takes a dirt nap, and now it's just Wukong left. And remember, this is our RTA Wukong. This isn't built for Rift. This is built for normal everyday usage. So he's not going to hit nearly as hard, but he's still going to work, guys. We have 18 rounds left to get through 12 rounds of health bar. Sorry, 11 rounds of health bar. Ten rounds of health bar. He is still doing almost a full health bar every swing, and that extra 30 speed is letting him lap so quickly that he takes 2 turns before the boss can even get an attack off. Look at that. That 30 extra speed is paying off in dividends, and look how fast we're clearing this thing. Cleared with 8 turns to go. Now, if Mukacha didn't get the defense break, it's still full clears. It's just a little bit slower. But I'm telling you, that 30 extra speed is great. Now, what to do if you need the defense break to full clear? Well, I'll tell you what. If you need the defense break to full clear, maybe you put a second defense breaker on the team. Maybe you run Ram on there as well as Mukacha, and that's 2 chances to defense break on S3s. You could even run a 3rd chance to defense break on there. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you guys enjoy it as much as I'm enjoying seeing that Molagora dancing on the end of Mukacha's spear. I think the best thing about Mukacha in Rift right now is watching what I think is a Molagora dancing on Mukacha's spear, if you have Ludwig in the right position, that is. If you have any questions, ask them in the comments section. If you think you have better team ideas, put that in the comments section as well. Maybe we'll make a video out of it. But for right now, this is my team. Just Wukong and power friendship leveling units until I run out, and then it's speed imprints all the way. You guys have a great rest of your week. Welcome to RC21. I hope you enjoy it here because, oh my god, you get so much gear from farming this. It's crazy. So enjoy that, and I will catch you guys next time. Have a good one. Holy crap. Does Rift give you a lot of gear or what? In 30 entries, guys. So if you haven't figured out that this is a solid way to get gear yet, I don't know what to tell you.